Hi everyone, welcome to my Aladin Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. I hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for joining me on the Aladin Show. Today I have an amazing, beautiful guest on, Iona Barker. She is going to be talking about confidence. Now, we all need confidence, you know, even if you're feeling lack of confidence, you don't know what to do and how to go about actually increasing your confidence. Today is the day to listen in to the Aladin Show. So before Iona comes on, she's actually sitting here next to me, but I'm going to introduce you quickly about her background. She actually does so much, but today I'm just going to give you a brief background about her. She's actually a life coach, an amazing life coach, and she's specializing in empowering people with confidence and seeing results, transformations in people's lives. She is an amazing lady. She loves to see transformation in people's lives, and she helps people with confidence. She also does one-to-one coaching, helps people transform relationship, finance, and careers, and also their homes. So if you got any issues, please keep watching. And her main message is that our whole life experiences and circumstances are based on how we think and how we feel. That is so true. And also her purpose and mission in life is to transform energy to benefit and to benefit everybody and to serve us as well. So energy is so important. So whatever you got energy, what you're feeling at the moment, is to transform this energy into a positive energy that could actually help the world. So that's her mission and her aim. Welcome, Iona.
Thanks, Aladin. It's so good to be back.
I know I had Iona before on the show before, and it's been quite a few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think my first stint on this was 2 or 3 years ago, so this is my third time.
Oh, wow.
I'm a pro at the Aladin Show.
Because the reason I love getting you, obviously you're a beautiful, amazing lady. You've got amazing energy, because this, as I mentioned in my previous shows, that I get not just anybody, but they have to have their energy, their heart, your soul, helping people, the compassionate, empowering, inspirational, and that's exactly who,
Thank
exactly.
you.
I mean, somebody like you, I love having on the show, and every single guest that I have are just similar, So, so today we're going to talk about confidence,
Yes.
and it's something I feel that most of us need. And I remember when I was growing up, my confidence was very lacking. And when I say to people like, "Oh, I didn't have confidence, I was this," and people are quite shocked, because they say, "Aladin, I can't see you having no confidence because the person I am now, obviously have more confidence due to lots of years of experience." Now, your title of the show is "Level Up Your Confidence." Now, this is the title that you've given me, so let's go from there.
Let's level up. Right. So confidence is it's basically how you feel about yourself.
Okay.
Right? It's your perspective, it's your belief, it's your how you feel about yourself, it's your opinion of yourself. And many of us, especially over the year or two that we've just had, right, our confidence has kind of been a bit shot a little bit, about going back to work, about showing up, about starting maybe new businesses or projects, even just going back to stuff that we had before the lockdowns and the pandemic. And even staying at home for the past year, people have got this push and this feeling that there's something more to do with life.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the confidence to do that thing that I really want to do. So I'm all about helping people level up their self-confidence by looking at and feeling into and really opening the door on the perspectives that they have about themselves, their opinions of themselves, which is fascinating, so fascinating.
Wow, opinion of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So your low confidence, for example, Aladin, back in the day, and I was the same. I had very low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and I was constantly told Iona needs to have more confidence. Every school report, Iona needs to have more confidence. But actually, that came down to my perspective of myself, that it wasn't safe to have confidence. It wasn't safe to be seen. Mm-hmm. It wasn't safe to show up in the world. And that could have been for fear or threat of being condemned, of being told I was wrong, being judged, being criticised, made to feel bad. And also that, maybe you feel like you're not good enough, so therefore it's not safe to stand up and have more confidence, or even feel more confident, because you feel like you're not good enough, or you're not worthy of whatever it is that you want. So these are some of the things that I work with people on, really identifying and clearing in real time, which is so exciting.
Wow. Yeah. So when you mean by identifying and clearing, what does that mean? Firstly, it's like identify. Mm-hmm. How would you identify?
Okay, so I have like a set of questions that I will ask somebody about their whole, and we go deep, we go real deep. I don't mess around. I create a safe and supportive environment for people to open up and feel comfortable and feel safe expressing themselves, feeling emotions, because many of us have been taught that we shouldn't feel, right? Or it's not safe to feel, because feeling feels bad at times, right? So I'm all about creating a really safe environment that is safe for you to feel how you want to feel. So I ask some questions, some probing questions that will really get the person and get my client to feel, right? Because we're so used to using this guy up here, right?
Yeah,
but actually our energy, our beliefs are powered by our mind and our emotions, by our physical body, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a perspective of yourself like I'm not good enough, then that you will be able to feel that in your body. So I ask questions around your circumstances and your experiences, and that could be on work, money, relationships, health, anything like that, all of those things, which will give you a perspective of yourself. Okay, so for example, we could use the relationship example, right? Someone who has a fear, or someone who is single who wants to have a relationship, but they feel like it's not safe to have a relationship, or they feel they're not good enough to be in a relationship, right? Because they perhaps had some heartbreak or heartache previously. So we do this kind of process where I ask them these questions, and we can then from these questions identify what they've got going on. So I'm really just the guide. I'm just guiding them through this process to identify what they've got going on at an emotional level and a mental level, which is like creating their whole environment and circumstances, right? Because whatever you believe to be true about yourself, your opinion of yourself, your beliefs on yourself, affects your whole life, affects your ability to do things, show up, ask for more money in work, or ask that person out on a date, or whatever is going on. It's all about your belief and your perspective of yourself. And that's like where confidence, for me, starts off with, really looking internally at what you've got going on at an emotional and mental level, pulling it out.
Wow, that's amazing. So I just feel sometimes that it's so important to teach those, the skills, the confidence when you're at school, because it's later on the years, if someone's working, in adulthood, that's when somebody will come to you, need help. And looking back in my life, in my teenage school years, that's when I really needed that. And then you're right, definitely right about, I thought I was not good enough. I didn't look great. Everybody said, certain things, and that kind of helped me. And I remember sitting at school, and I knew the answer. I didn't want to put my hand up.
Because it's not safe to put your hand up. It's not safe to be seen and heard, because if you are, you may be judged, criticised, hated, and then feel all these emotional feelings that feel bad and wrong and not nice, right? So your opinion of yourself and your self-confidence really powers your whole life. And most of us in school especially, we get taught that confidence has to be this like I'm here, like this kind of like brash, inauthentic, like especially mental confidence, it's this kind of like showing up and all singing, all dancing, somebody who's confident, might be an actor or something like that, But actually authentic confidence comes from within. It comes from the emotions. It comes from feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling like you're good enough, feeling like you're worthy, feeling like you're in a place and you feel safe in that place. And we create our own safety, Aladin. We create our own internal beliefs around safety and security by listening to our emotions. But were you taught about emotions in school? I wasn't.
No. I mean, you know, even my son, definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Especially for men, right?
Men,
oh my gosh, like men are not allowed to be emotional. They have to be critical thinkers, mental thinkers, right? Where women are allowed to be emotional, but also, you know, don't show your emotions because that's, you know,
that's not so manly. That's a masculine thing, you know. That's what I mean. This is, I mean, we could go to another talk about educational system, but it's so important. I think whoever's watching, you know, it's something maybe think if they got children, trying to improve their confidence in different ways. But so you mentioned about, you know, our lack of confidence in ourselves affects our whole life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just one thing, is everything.
It is, yeah.
You know, relationship, as you know, you mentioned work, also manifestation of things and all that, of passion.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're manifesting based on what you believe to be true about yourself, right? So if you believe that you're not good enough or that you're unworthy, then you're just going to manifest more of that evidence, because evidence in your life is merely evidence of what you're practicing at an emotional and mental level, right? We would call it vibration, right, or essence, right? It's energy, right? In order for you to experience things in your life, you must become an energetic match to it. Okay, so if you have a belief or a perspective that you're not good enough, then you're only going to experience evidence to show you that is true, that you're not good enough. But what I want to say to everyone is, who says, define good enough, right? Yeah. And also, who decided, who is the overlord of the universe that just gets to decide who is not and who is good enough, right? A brand new baby, when they come into this reality, is that baby good enough? Right? Yeah. Yes or no? Like, yes, they are good enough, right? Absolutely. Are they worthy?
Yeah.
Yes. So growing up, we may make decisions, we make choices, we do things. Sometimes we make mistakes, good or bad. Sometimes we hurt people, we hurt ourselves, and we learn, or we are told by others that we're not good enough. And I feel like one of my missions in life is to really show people and teach people and remind people that you are good enough. You were born good enough. You are always good enough. You are always worthy to get whatever you want, to experience whatever you want. And what I notice with many of my clients is that the not good enoughness is generational. It comes through the DNA. It's what would you call it? You know, like it's ancient. You know, like grandparents and grandparents and parents and grandparents. Like if a parent or grandparent believes that they're not good enough, then why would you be good enough, right? Right. So so their good enoughness and their proof in their reality of this merely mirroring back to them what their belief is evidence for their not good enoughness, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then So then they're teaching their children the same emotions and the same thoughts, that not good enoughness, you're not good enough, right? Especially when it comes to schoolwork and showing up in school and having confidence in school. If you're not putting your hand up in class, or if you're not getting the grades in on time, then you're not good enough, right? Define good enough. What does good enough mean? What does it mean to be good enough?
Yeah.
Right?
What does it mean?
So I believe that everybody on this planet is good enough, and we all have the power to realise that and see that. And that's where our confidence, I feel like, because so many of us, we feel like we're not good enough because of some things we did in the past. But if you did everything in the past based on how you felt in that moment, then, and you're here right now, and of course, because you're here right now, we know that everything works out for you, right? Because you're here listening, or we're here right now in this moment. So everything works out for you. So therefore you are good enough, right? Yeah. And when people start to hear and play with the feeling of good enough, they're listening to their mind, their critical mind chatter that's like, no, you're not. You know, it's like, I want to feel good enough, right? I am good enough. I am good enough. No, you're not, right? Is that like the critical thinking in the mind chatter, turning it down and then turning up the emotion of good enough.
Wow. I think we're so blessed to be in this time because, there are people like yourselves, many others that can explain all that to people and they don't need to be in that I'm not good enough all my life, they can't do anything, they can't get help, or being a lack of confidence from the early age to the adulthood to their time passing. So there's a change that could be made. People come to you because they want to change. They don't want to be where they are.
Yeah.
Like yourself, as you said, this clearing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that clearing examples?
Okay, so I would use more questions, right, to get down to the root belief, your root perspective, and that might be not good enough, unworthy, it's not safe. A lot of people have something going on that's called split energy, right, where you want something, but you believe that it's not safe to have it, so you self-sabotage. So let's use money for as an example, right? Everybody wants more money, right? But some people have some split energy going on where they want the money in the bank, but it's not safe to have the money in the bank because somebody might take it away, someone might steal it, X, Y, Z. Someone might ask for it, or a bill might come up. So that's the split energy. It's this pull, it's like a tug of war in their energy, in their emotions, right?
Yeah.
So we identify all of these things, and once we know what's going on within your energy, within your body, emotions and mind, we then have an opportunity to decide whether we want to believe it, we want to keep it going as a perspective or not, right? And that's really where the magic of the clearing work. It's not magic, it's actually NLP and psychology, all of these things like all rolled into energy, Reiki, all rolled into one thing, because your choices, your ability, your free will ability to make decisions and decide is your power, right? Your greatest power is the ability to choose. And you can choose whether to believe that story that your family, your parents, and all these people have been peddling and saying for years and years, and that's their truth, or you get to choose a new story, that it is safe to have money, that it is safe to have the relationship, it is safe to have X, Y, Z, that you decide that from this moment onwards, it's safe to feel good enough. You're going to play with feeling good enough. And it is like, it's the journey, right? You start off small, you take baby steps. It's not like one day you wake up and I'm like, I'm good enough. Yes, you could. But usually with people, it's like baby steps. You take tiny little steps to feeling good enough and feeling worthy and feeling abundant. And then these little baby steps turn into like a big... So that's why I work with people on a 3-month basis, usually, because that's how long it takes to really embed beliefs and emotions that are beneficial and that serve us.
Okay.
So that's what the clearing work's all about. It's just giving you the choice. Once we can open up your belief system and what you've got going on in there, your perspectives and your opinion of yourself, you can decide, do you want to keep believing this, thinking this, feeling this stuff that probably doesn't even belong to you? It's probably like ancestral, or it could be because of so-and-so that this time did this thing. Do you want to carry that heavy baggage into your now moments, or can we set it aside? I developed this thing during COP26 in Glasgow, when all the like environmental stuff was going on, and I think I must have channeled it because it didn't come from me, but it was all about like making a source or a God's or a universal recycling centre.
Yeah.
Where you take all of your old baggage, your emotional, mental stories, and you deposit them into sources, God's universe's recycling centre, and it creates new positive energy.
Well, I've created it yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in your field.
Yeah.
Right. And so you might, I don't know, you'd like journaling, don't you?
Yeah.
I love journaling too. So you might decide that your journal is a source's recycling centre, God's recycling centre, or the universe's recycling centre, and you can then like pull out and pour out all of the things that you no longer want to believe in, or think about or feel, old family stories around money, like your relationship stuff from years ago, the way you were treated by an ex, all of these things, you can empty it out into this recycling centre and then close it and decide that that's it, it's recycled. And then you can then move forward with love and, you know, a little bit more ease and relief and feel lighter, you know, at the end of the day, because of these beliefs, especially like the not good enoughs and the unworthiness. It's heavy.
It's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, because I was just thinking when you were talking about that recycling, God, is it, what do you call it? God, God source recycling.
God source universe, whatever your belief system
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
Angels recycle, whatever you want to call it, you could call it that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I think if we could do that, I mean, I suppose there is a way, as I said, it's just releasing it from your mind through writing, you know, putting on a piece of paper, and and that will help taking a look at, you know, things that you, and it also goes deeper. You could maybe go deeper within you. As you said, it's clearing, it's just going in deeper. It's things that you write down. I remember the time, you know, I've got books, not time, but I've actually got a lot of notepads at night time, and I would write things down.
You just empty your brain. It's like brain drain.
Brain drain. Yeah. But and it does work. You don't think it would, but it works, amazing. Isn't it?
It's fantastic.
So I would write those things down in a notepad, and I look back now to the stuff I wrote, you know, years ago. And I'm like, oh God, my God, this has been so long. You know, did I think like that? Did I feel like that?
Yeah, but you did, and now you've recycled it. You know, you've recycled it, and now you've created it into pure positive source, God's universal energy, whatever you want to call it.
Oh.
And I know that sounds like, for a lot of people, it sounds kind of woo-woo, and it sounds like mystical and all this stuff. But your perspectives and our perspectives and thoughts are so powerful that if we believe that everything's always working out for us, and that there is a positive energy source in the universe that's helping us and guiding us, you know, that could just be another person, that could be a deity, it could be, you know, anything you want to call it, angels, whatever, universe, whatever. I find that, like, it's a lot easier for people to visualize, imagine, and feel into that ease and that relief and that freedom and that lightness, you know.
Okay. So you said it takes 3 months to change a thought, or change
your whole being.
Your being.
Yeah, your physical, mental, emotional body.
Can people go back to how they were after the 3 months? Do you think
you could try?
You
could try, but
going back to,
like, so the people that I've worked with so far, a lot of them they came to me for relationship kind of based things, and it's really interesting because I'll have a catch up with them, like once a year. I'll check in with them once we've completed I'll say, you know, it's a year since we started working together. How are you? And I'll say to them, do you remember saying this? Do you remember saying that? And they'll be like, I don't have a clue. I don't even remember saying that. That's not part of my vibe anymore. So I just like to check in and see, like, actually, if people, you know, if they can go back to the way that they felt before. And like everything, Aladin, it's a choice that you get to choose. But once you've tasted how good freedom feels and how good lightness feels, unless you have some sort of self-sabotage behaviour going on, very rarely do people go back, like relapse to the way that they felt before. Because once you've tasted, you know, freedom and lightness, and it's an emotional freedom. Once you've tasted that, like it's like you want more. You know, you want to just keep it going.
So maybe the viewers watching at home, maybe in other parts of the world, and they're saying, okay, what can I do at home to change, you know, improve my confidence? What tips would you think?
I've got so many good tips. Right. So I love to practice mirror work.
Okay.
And mirror work was something that was developed by Louise Hay way back in the day. To improve your self-confidence, I would highly recommend that you stand in front of a mirror, and it can be like a bathroom mirror, and look at yourself in the mirror and smile at yourself. Smile at yourself, and you can say hello, you can say whatever you want, or you can just simply say, you can just smile at yourself in the mirror, right? And that has so much power right? The smile, the energy around smiling has so much power. At first it'll probably be quite resistant and a bit wobbly. You'll probably be like, oh, this doesn't feel good, right? But you'll start to feel in your body lighter, freer, and you might even feel your posture change. You might, feel you're kind of like holding your head up a little higher. So mirror work, I highly recommend for people who need a confidence boost, especially if you have anything around like not good enough, self-worth, and really disliking yourself. Giving yourself a smile in the mirror, and maybe even implementing and practicing saying things like, everything's going to be okay, everything always works out for me, I am good enough, I am worthy, things like that in the mirror is so powerful. And something else that I highly recommend to everyone is to journal, is to free write. I teach and I do personally 3 pages a day, and it can be A5 paper, and you're just journaling out your thoughts and feelings around whatever you've got going on in your life. And the power that has from a psychological perspective and a science perspective, the part of your brain, the frontal lobe of your brain actually comes online and pulls out stuff that you've been thinking about or practicing or believing for a long time, and it goes down your fingers and into your hand, and you're clearing. You're like you said before about your looking back at your old journals, you're actually releasing and moving energy, because emotion means energy in motion, right? Emotion, energy in motion. So if you can move, mirror work, look at yourself in the mirror, smile, journal, and allow yourself to feel. It's safe to feel, right? Allow yourself to feel. You're moving energy around your body, and that allows new energy to come in, and clear energy to feel lighter and more confident.
Wow, that's a mirror work. Need to try that.
Yes, absolutely. I thought you already did that.
I do. I mean, saying that, I need to try more of it. Because it's what when obviously putting on makeup, looking in the mirror, and stopping and just kind of smiling and things like that. It's sometimes we'd focus on the stuff that we don't like in the mirror, and then we just like
what's that benefiting? How's that benefiting us?
I know it doesn't.
And we're trained. We're trained to look at our faults and our bad and the things that's wrong with us. But what if you're perfect in your imperfections? I'm sure that's a song lyric from somebody. But what if you are? What if you're perfect? What if your imperfections and everything about you right now in this moment is perfect?
Yeah.
You're a human being, right?
Yeah.
We can't be like plastic robotic Barbie dolls, you know what I mean? Like we're human beings, we're going to have stuff going on. We can change it, and it's easier to change once we start feeling lighter and once we start feeling more confident. The doors will open up and we will be able to change things a lot easier.
Exactly, definitely. That's a really good the tips that you've given, I'm sure people will be trying that out. But one of the things I did hear from people who say, I don't like looking at the mirror, I don't like looking at myself.
Why? So this is where so I would then ask the question, first of all, what feeling do you get when you look in the mirror, right? Is it a feeling of not good enough? Why do you feel not good enough? Who said that you're not good enough, right? And then you'll get the answers of like, my parents, or this ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, or society, or blah, 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 blah. And then I would ask the question after that, do they feel good enough? And usually I would get a no, that the parent or the friend or the ex or whomever does not feel good enough in themselves. So how can somebody who feels not good enough encourage others to feel good enough, right?
Yeah.
So define good enough, right? And people might be like, well, good enough is having a fit body and a blah, blah, blah. Well, no, that's a lie, because there's plenty of people who, people who are worthy and feel good enough and who are a certain size. Oprah, for example, right? She's her weight's fluctuated, and not once has she ever perhaps, she's maybe felt not good enough or unworthy, but she's shown up as herself, unashamedly empowered, right? So our perspectives are everything. Your perspective of yourself is everything, and if you feel or believe that you're not good enough, question it, ask why it's there, where did it come from, who projected it onto you, what benefit does it have?
Exactly, yeah. That's really interesting, you know. And I'm sure some people might be thinking, yeah, I need to think about where did that come from?
Yeah.
And so
don't punish them, you know, like they're just doing what they believed to be true at that time, right? And this is like, especially with our parents, if our parents feel not good enough or felt not good enough, it was learned behaviour. We learned that behaviour from them.
Yeah.
But they were just trying to keep us safe at the end of the day because they didn't want us to go through perhaps the emotional pain that they had experienced. So
exactly. We're nearly out of time, Iona, but before you kind of leave, I mean, I would love to get you back on again. I know that this is the third time we're here, but there's so much stuff that we could talk about, we
do.
And
we do talk for hours.
We do. And it's love to get you back on the studio because I know that a lot of my shows is now Zoom and online, but it's lovely to get back into the studio. But where can people contact you or find out more information? You know, maybe want to get coaching from you or get
Absolutely.
something.
So you can email me, Iona Barker 1, Iona Barker with a number 1 at gmail.com, Iona Barker 1 at gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is new paradigm _ Iona, or you can hunt me down on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Iona Barker.
You're on Instagram, are you?
Yes. Yeah, my Instagram is new paradigm Iona.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel. Yeah, just Iona Barker.
Oh, yeah, Barker. Yeah. So I told you, you're on everywhere, so I'm sure people could find you. But I would say to somebody who's actually looking for a coach, I would recommend Iona. I would definitely recommend you, and just for having a chat and see, how you kind of gel. But definitely, people would actually benefit from kind of having a chat with you to find out anything.
Always, even just to say hi.
Yeah. And then Iona does so many other things I won't mention her, but she's got, she runs lives and everything and other things. You need to really follow her on Instagram and Facebook and and YouTube as well. So anyway, Iona, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your beautiful energy. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And I would love to see you back.
Absolutely, I'm here. Can't hold me back.
I think we would do maybe a Christmas show or something.
Maybe.
Yes.
How to deal with difficult people at Christmas time.
Yeah, why not?
I'm actually writing a little book about that just now.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to get you back on about that. Yeah. So thank you, Iona. Thank you for everybody for watching the Aladin Show. I'm really, really blessed to be here, actually, to be doing the show because of you, everybody out there who's watching my show. And please share the show with your family and friends and your colleagues and people and I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from listening in, because everybody needs to feel good, most of all, and also when you feel good, you look great. That's the key. It's not the other way around. That's what society is telling you. It's feel good first, and then by feeling good, you'll look great. So thank you again for watching, and I've got amazing guests in the next few weeks. And please, as I said, share this show with your family and friends and loved ones and everybody and I'm sure that it's all about sharing and caring. So I hope I could see you next week on my Aladin Show. Take care. Bye.